So, having begun to detect these things in myself, began to make a connection to our collective experience. When I say collective, I don't just mean as Americans, I don't just mean as people who are alive today, but as throughout the course of human history. And how we came to see the world the way we did, and the change that's taken place over time, from a time when we were bonded with this world and with the creatures that are alive in it, and to somehow, I guess, what I've described as the human separatist movement that has come about. This idea that we're somehow disconnected from the whole, and all the mischief we can get up to when we start to think that way. So this piece I wrote was kind of around my thinking behind how there's really no way back, in the sense that we cannot unlearn or forget our time away. We can't ever recapture that innocence without the memory of the loss of it as it once was. It's not that we cannot again become aware and have the recognition of the interconnected nature of all life on this planet, but we can never erase the memory of our time away. And I wrote this piece called Our Way Home. Looking back, or up or down, it seems so obvious. But at that time, we were still in time, and it was a great mystery. Our lives together, that desperate project. Time and again, we've gotten it right, only to discover the limitations of our definitions. The seed that we had sown in the Aegean, that storied seed of our youth, had grown rank down through the ages. A hedge of thorns hemming us round, a wilderness of mirrors on our dissolving horizon. When the truth was made a destination, just like any other, some thing to be stalked and trapped by the mind, then beauty too became an abstraction. Soon all the poets died of broken hearts, or worse, were left muttering in the margins. The prophets were next, sophers reasoned. The priests were neutered, and the rest of us were left to stumble, struck dumb, through inner space. Then we could split an atom on the dark side of the moon, or catalog all the stars in the heavens, but not one of them could ever, never, ever again show us the way home. And not one of us, strictly on our own, ever did find our way back. Maybe one more. Okay, maybe two. Okay. This is a piece that, since I'm old, I'm going to talk about some of the things that looking back on the American national experience and my experience growing up, that shift in perspective that I had has also shined some light on some of the things that I would have saw differently before, that I definitely look at differently now, and the way that I grew up. And some of the others of you that might be old like me might remember some of these things that I'm talking about. So this is by the year 2000. When I was growing up, it was always going to be by the year 2000 when things were going to be just great. I mean, we were going to have, we would have finally turned the corner. Things were almost perfect, mind you, but they would really, really be perfect by the year 2000. And it was just this benchmark. And I remember calculating how old I was going to be, in the year 2000, and I was, going to be the unimaginably old age of 36 or something, and I just couldn't even fathom that. But there was all these wonderful things that were going to be happening, and so it was just this really exciting thing to look forward to. And I'm kind of still waiting on that, I guess. At any rate, by the year 2000, I can still remember those words, spoken with such strident optimism, that mantra of grade school film strips. become an indictment of modern progress. Things were almost perfect, and soon would be. By the turn of the century, we would all be driving flying cars and make the world safe for democracy. In classrooms around the nation, the vertigo we were experiencing was treated with a potent admixture of patriotism and excitement. We were still the children of manifest destiny, who had fired the shot heard round the world. None of us has yet suspected that all that shooting might never stop. The evidence was, of course, everywhere. If I or anyone else had known how to look, or perhaps when or where to look, suffice it to say that they were missed, those signs at the times. Apparently they were posted on roads we had been dismantling since the heady days of the revolution. Equality, freedom, integrity, justice, the truth. Well, the truth really was self-evident. All of our ideals have become nothing more than slogans, reduced to partisan and empty opinions, shouted routinely from the left and from the right, cynically mocked, wrapped in a flag, and dumped unceremoniously in the gutters of Wall Street. Looking back on it all now, the distortions fade, like characters in a childhood fever dream. I can no longer remember if we were ever really cowboys, or if there ever was any gold actually found in them there hills. I only remember that we all continued searching for it, long after night had fallen, long after we had gotten hopelessly lost, and long after our fires had all gone out. And now, perhaps, something a little more hopeful. This last piece is, in some ways, it's my favorite, and it's kind of looking back on things that are yet to come. It's a lot of different things. It dips in and out of the eternal and temporal perspective. It could be considered a call to arms, a recognition of our struggle together. And it's called Valley of Shadow. The age of tears has come and gone. The wheel of time's forever still. Our sea of troubles, flat and calm. A steady hand is at the till. But in our streets, they tell a story. At heaven's gates, they tell the tale. And our children sing of the desperate glory earned within a darkened veil, of those who mustered out for battle in a war they knew could not be won, to buy us time when forces gathered, as titans clashed and stopped the sun, of lances gathered in the darkness, of lines run through by wicked foes, of flashing swords and flights of arrows. On and on that story goes, of the old and young and wounded soldiers, of how they fought and how they tried, of how they braced, then squared their shoulders, and fell together, side by side. From canyons on the holy mountain, the voices echo tales so true, their words fall in the living fountains to overflow and turn them blue. And if you listen very softly, you'll hear them tell that whispered tale of how men rode to final glory, deep within that darkened veil. Though all seem lost, we joined that battle, fought as brothers, and there we died, till we broke the lines of falling shadows, one last time, for all mankind.